This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for USVI News. I'm Haley Potter. We begin with some good news across the VI. The Royal Caribbean will once again set sail on July 6th for the first time since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. Royal Caribbean Group executives announced this plan on Wednesday, saying they project over 213,000 guests will visit by the end of 2021, which will generate millions of dollars for our small businesses across the territory. Governor Albert Bryan Jr. says the USVI government has been working with the cruise line for several months to safely allow them to come back into the territory. COVID-19 safety protocols will be followed. Passengers are encouraged to get vaccinated, but those who are not must provide a negative PCR COVID-19 test 5 days before arriving at the terminal and then tested again in the terminal and again 5 days into the cruise. The first cruise call date is set for July 6th for the Celebrity Edge on St. Thomas. Then on July 29th, Allure of the Seas will arrive on St. Thomas. On August 18th, Celebrity Equinox will make its stop on St. Croix. And then on September 28th, the Explorer will also sail its way to St. Croix. The ships will be arriving with 30% capacity for the time being to meet all COVID-19 safety protocols. And now for a look at the latest coronavirus numbers right here in the territory. There are currently 92 active COVID-19 cases across the islands, with 70 on St. Thomas, 19 on St. Croix, and 3 on St. John. America is getting rid of COVID-19 restrictions, but facing a growing threat from the Delta variant. We have some details.
Experts predict the Delta variant, first discovered in India, could soon become the dominant COVID strain in the U.S.
It is more transmissible and possibly more dangerous in terms of causing severe disease.
All of it only accelerating the rush to get Americans vaccinated. But the Biden administration is running out of time to hit its July 4th goal. 70% of Americans with at least one shot. So far, only about 53% of the country is partially vaccinated, but some states are barely hitting a third of their population. The lowest rates in southern states like Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, and Mississippi, where only 28% of the state is fully vaccinated. A new poll out shows giving some insight into why the rates are lagging. 37% of those asked point to vaccine hesitancy, but nearly double that number say they faced barriers in trying to get the shot. And even as scenes like these becoming more familiar, Dodger Stadium hosting the largest sports crowd since the start of the pandemic, still some setbacks, with a Royal Caribbean cruise ship forced to postpone setting sail after 8 crew members tested positive for COVID-19.
If you are vaccinated, you are still in good shape. But if you are unvaccinated, there's still reasons to be cautious, to still wear a mask, to still avoid indoor gatherings.
And this week, Vice President Harris will travel to Atlanta, part of the administration's focus on boosting vaccinations in the southern part of the mainland. And Governor Albert Bryan Jr. has rescheduled his appearance on the press box that was originally planned to take place on Thursday night. He will now be on the press box next Thursday, June 24th at 5:30 p.m. This hour-long event will allow residents to ask questions and state their concerns about anything here in the territory. Bryan will address as many concerns as he can through in the hour time frame. This will be a live stream event, and residents are encouraged to ask questions in the comments section of the live stream. They can also email questions to governmenthouse@go.vi.gov. That address is on your screen right now. The live stream event will be on the Government House USVI Facebook page. And U.S. Virgin Island Office of Disaster Recovery and FEMA continue to try to break the cycle of reoccurring damage following a natural disaster. This effort has led to over $93 million in projects to reduce death and property damage from disasters through FEMA's Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. FEMA will continue to work with its territorial partners to reduce risks and hazards to Virgin Islanders posed by hurricanes and other natural disasters.
At FEMA, our mission is to help people before, during, and after disasters. In recent years, we've experienced and responded to more frequent and more intense hurricanes, wildfires, and floods, in part from climate change. We need your help in shaping our policies and programs to better prepare the nation for the growing threat of climate change and to reduce the disaster impacts in the communities where you live. We also need your help to think about how we deliver our programs more equitably and reduce unnecessary barriers to participation in order to better serve all communities. Please go to FEMA.gov/events and tell us what you think FEMA can do to create a culture of climate resilience, remove systemic barriers for underserved groups, and to learn more about our request for information on climate change and underserved populations. With your help, together, we can advance equity and build national resilience from climate risks.
President Biden and Russia's Vladimir Putin finally came face-to-face on Wednesday for their highly anticipated high-stakes summit in Switzerland. President Biden saying his agenda is not against Russia, it's for the U.S. Putin called his American counterpart an experienced leader, but he dodged responsibility of a string of charges. USVI News' Ethan Kibbe reports.
Face-to-face and staring down a host of thorny issues, President Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin speaking for roughly 3 hours today before holding separate press conferences.
I think there's a genuine prospect to significantly improve the relations between our two countries without us giving up a single solitary thing based on principle and our values.
On the whole, we spoke the same language.
The shorter-than-anticipated meeting, covering ground from Russian election interference to aggression in Ukraine and Russian-based cyber attacks targeting America's critical infrastructure. President Putin denied any involvement, instead accusing the U.S.
What do the state organs of Russia have to do with that? We are encountering the same threats.
President Biden said they agreed to talks about reining in the cyber threat, and he vowed to respond to any future attacks.
He knows I will take action.
On the question of human rights abuses and jailing political opponents, Putin deflecting blame, making a false equivalence to arrests after the deadly January 6th siege of the U.S. Capitol.
They're being called domestic terrorists.
That's a ridiculous comparison. It's one thing for literally criminals to break through cordon, go into the Capitol, kill a police officer, and be held unaccountable. And it is for people objecting and marching on the Capitol and saying, you are not allowing me to speak freely.
The two sides did agree to begin nuclear arms control negotiations and return each nation's ambassadors to their posts. President Biden calling this just the start of restoring relations, saying it's clear neither country wants another Cold War.
Thanks, Ethan. And this is just a reminder if you're making plans for this weekend. The VI Department of Human Services is hosting its first ever motorcade to raise awareness and support foster care this Saturday. They're asking people in both St. Croix and St. Thomas to show support by wearing and decorating their vehicles in light blue. The Walk Me Home motorcade will begin on Saturday at 4 p.m. On St. Thomas, the motorcade will start at the Emile Ballpark parking lot and end at the Tutu Mall parking lot. On St. Croix, the motorcade starts at the DHS Office of the Commissioner in the Golden Rock parking lot and ends at the Bedeau Park. Both parades begin at 4 p.m. Churches, businesses, and individuals are urged to sponsor the Walk Me Home motorcade and show our kids in protective and foster care that the community stands in support of them. Funds raised will go toward personal care items, toiletries, school supplies, clothing, car seats, duffel bags, and other essential and critical supplies for at-risk children and youth in transition during this very difficult time.